Alright, so here we are on putting this Headway bank together. I got my improvised workbench out here in the laundry room. And I got my little bolts holding my wires from my balancer. I'm getting ready to tuck all this and clean this all up. Should be nice. Alright, so I know it may be a little rude and crude, but I put my other phone back on here, put my wires behind it, and then I added a piece of packing tape running along the side here to hold it in place. And then I put my battery balancer, routed it up here on the end of this bar, and just put one piece of packing tape over the top of it to keep it in place. And I think that's actually perfect. I want to be able to see when it's balancing, so there you go. May seem a little crude, but with my piece underneath for my insulation, I can set it on a metal washing machine. So I know it's going to be fine sitting in the top of it. Hey, I like them apples. Good times. Or actually, it's a metal dryer, not a washing machine. That's the washing machine. Jeez. Come on, man, get it right. I'm going to finish off, put this in. I'm going to put this foam behind here and then tighten up my leather strap. So this will provide some extra cushion, keep things in place nice and tight, and just like that. So that'll also allow a little bit more space for my wires to run and not be so caught up on top of the bars. Alright guys, after redoing that pack, my voltage was sitting at 13.3, and that was after having it all broke down and taking the cells, taking poor cells out, the bad cell out, putting it all back together. I was sitting at 13.3, and then when even after having it hooked up in here, it stayed at 13.3. When I started the vehicle up, we went up to 13.6 or 7. About 6, and it's slowly climbing up right now. Before I took it apart, when I started the vehicle up, within a few seconds, even with that stock alternator, within a few seconds it went up to 14.9. So I'm thinking I was only getting a tiny portion of that pack. There was some loose connections and stuff, and I was only getting a small portion of it. This is going to be crazy when this thing comes alive. Alright, got her laid in there. Got the wires a little bit more sorted for what it was. I don't want to get crazy with the wires because we're doing testing and all that. But it should hit 13.2 wherever it's resting. Right now we're sitting at 13.3. We're still running, but the alternators, the charging system is dropped down to 12.6. So that's where they're resting, is at 13.3. And I don't know. I'm gonna take it out here and feed it a handful of beans here in a minute and see how it does. That'll be the telltale. That'll be what tells the tale. That's all at 500 RPM on the single 300 amp China alternator that I got. I ain't even got my big alternator in here. I got a China 300 amp alternator idling 500 RPM. Yes, sir. That is a substantial change. We're gonna do it with the highs turned on now. I got the sub turned down quite a bit though. How y'all like them house speakers? Well, that's a big difference in voltage. Holy crap. I hadn't had my voltage drop below 12 volt, and I'm just sitting here idling 500 RPM on what's supposed to be a 300 amp aftermarket alternator, but I don't know. It's a China alternator, looks stock with a couple of exceptions. It's got a bigger stud on the output and a small pulley. Other than that, it looks stock. But hell, it might be doing its power, honestly. To be honest, I don't know. But I don't have my big GP alternator, which is a 370 that I know makes power. It ain't on here right now. So, I can't say it's a stock alternator, but I don't know. I do know that that lithium bank is doing the work now, for sure. I need to go back here and feel with the bars and see if they feel warm. Check that. So, no, even these little bars on the sides don't feel warm at all. Let's see if I can reach in here and get a little further down here toward the end. Well, they feel nice and cool. Nothing in here feels, no, nothing in here feels warm. And the manager, or the balancer, isn't balancing them. It's balancing a little bit when I first put it in here, but after all that basing, it's not balancing right now, which means all the cells are balanced. That's freaking cool.